One person I know who is very talkative is my cousin, Priya. Priya is around my age, and we grew up together, so we are quite close. I've known her since childhood, and we have spent countless hours talking and sharing stories. But when it comes to being talkative, Priya definitely stands out. She loves to talk about almost anything, from her daily life to her thoughts on current events. A lot of the time, she tells me stories about her friends, her work, and the latest shows or movies she's watched. What makes her especially interesting is that she's always up to date with what's happening in the world. She loves discussing things like politics, the environment, and even random fun facts she's come across online. No matter how small or trivial the topic is, she can make it sound interesting because she explains things with so much enthusiasm. Sometimes she'll go on and on without even realizing it. Honestly, I don't mind it most of the time because she has this energy and positivity that makes conversations with her enjoyable. But occasionally, when I'm tired or in a quiet mood, her nonstop talking can be a little overwhelming. Still, I think her talkative nature comes from a place of being social and caring. She genuinely enjoys connecting with people through conversation, and she's very open-minded, always willing to listen to others. Overall, I feel that Priya's talkative nature makes her approachable and lively. Even though there are moments when I wish she could slow down a little, I appreciate how she makes every conversation full of life and laughter. A person I know who has excellent fashion sense is my friend, Rahul. Rahul has always had a unique style that stands out, and I admire how confident he is with his clothing choices. I met him during university, and since then, I've always noticed how well he dresses for every occasion. Rahul's fashion sense is a mix of modern and classic styles. He often wears smart casual outfits, like tailored pants, stylish shirts, and sometimes a blazer when the occasion calls for it. What sets him apart is his attention to detail. He knows how to pair different colors and fabrics to make the entire outfit look cohesive and fashionable. Rahul also keeps up with the latest fashion trends, but he's not someone who blindly follows them. Instead, he picks pieces that suit his personality and body type. He often likes wearing accessories such as watches, belts, and sunglasses, which add a touch of sophistication to his look. I remember he once told me that fashion is not just about following trends. It's about expressing yourself and being comfortable in what you wear. That stuck with me because, with him, fashion isn't just about clothes, it's a form of self-expression. Personally, I think his fashion sense is amazing. Every time I see him, I feel like I'm learning something new about style and how to present myself better. He inspires me to pay more attention to what I wear, not just for appearance, but also for how it makes me feel. Overall, I think his fashion sense reflects his personality: stylish, confident, and always put together. When I was in high school, we had a school uniform that I wore every day. I started wearing it from the first grade all the way until I graduated, so for about 12 years. The uniform was quite simple and practical, but over time I grew to feel a sense of belonging whenever I wore it. The uniform consisted of a white shirt, a blue tie, and gray pants for boys, while girls wore a white blouse with a blue skirt. We also had a navy blue blazer that we wore during the winter. There was the school logo embroidered on the pocket of the shirt and blazer, which made it easy to identify which school we belonged to. The tie was striped with the school colors, blue and white. Overall, the design of the uniform was neat, modest, and very traditional. I remember feeling neutral about the uniform when I first started wearing it. As a kid, I didn't think much about it. But as I got older, I started to appreciate the simplicity of wearing the same outfit every day. It made mornings a lot easier because I didn't have to think about what to wear. Everyone looked the same, so there wasn't any pressure to dress differently or stand out. It was quite freeing in that sense. By the time I graduated, I felt a bit nostalgic about the uniform. It symbolized my time at school, the friendships I made, and all the experiences I had. Even though I've moved on and no longer wear a uniform, I look back on it with fond memories, and it reminds me of the discipline and unity it brought among us students. In the future, I would love to work as a data analyst. It's a field that I find really fascinating, and I became interested in it during my time in university when I took a course in data science. I realized how much data impacts every aspect of our lives and how analyzing it can lead to better decisions in business, healthcare, and even entertainment. A data analyst's job involves collecting, processing, and interpreting large sets of data to help companies make informed decisions. I love working with numbers and solving problems, so this career feels like a natural fit for me. I enjoy using software and tools to find patterns and insights from raw data, and I think this job will keep me engaged because it's always changing as technology evolves. However, I know it's going to be tough to get into this field. Data analysis requires a strong understanding of mathematics, statistics, and programming languages like Python and SQL. I'll need to develop these technical skills further, and it will take a lot of hard work. Additionally, the job market is competitive, so I will have to stand out by gaining practical experience and perhaps even pursuing certifications to strengthen my qualifications. Despite the challenges, I believe this job will have a positive impact on my future. Data is becoming more important in every industry, so there will be plenty of opportunities for growth and career advancement. More importantly, I feel passionate about this field, and working as a data analyst will allow me to do something I genuinely enjoy while contributing to meaningful projects. A few days ago, I had a very interesting conversation with my neighbor, Mr. Gupta. He's an elderly man in his 70s, and we often chat when we meet in the building. This time, we talked about his experiences living through various historical events, and I found it incredibly fascinating. He shared stories about how life was different when he was young, especially during the period of India's independence. He talked about how his family used to live in a small village and how things gradually changed with the growth of cities and technology. What made the conversation so interesting was the perspective he offered. He's lived through so many changes, political, social, and technological, and hearing about these events from someone who experienced them firsthand was quite different from reading about them in books. I found myself asking him many questions because his stories were full of wisdom and insights. He told me how people used to communicate before the internet and mobile phones, how the economy has transformed, and even how cultural practices have evolved over time. It was eye-opening to think about how quickly things have changed in just a few decades. This conversation left me feeling thoughtful and grateful. It made me appreciate how much progress we've made as a society, but it also made me realize how important it is to preserve these memories and learn from the past. I hope to have more conversations like this with Mr. Gupta because they're not only informative, but also give me a sense of connection to history. The last time I used a map was during a road trip I took with my friends last summer. We were driving to a national park that none of us had visited before, and although we had GPS on our phones, there was a point where we lost signal in a remote area, so we had to rely on a physical map. We were somewhere in the mountains, and the road signs were quite confusing. Thankfully, one of my friends had brought an old-fashioned paper map of the region. At first, it felt strange to use it because we're so used to digital maps these days. However, it turned out to be quite useful. We spread it out on the car's dashboard and carefully traced the route to figure out where we were and where we needed to go. The experience was a bit challenging because none of us were used to reading a map like that, but it was also fun. It gave us a sense of adventure, like we were explorers navigating through the wilderness. We had to pay close attention to landmarks and the natural surroundings to ensure we were on the right path. Eventually, we made it to the national park, and I have to say, using the map added an extra layer of excitement to the trip. Overall, the experience taught me how valuable traditional maps can be, especially in situations where technology fails. It was a good reminder that sometimes the old ways are still relevant and useful, and it gave me a newfound appreciation for the skills involved in map reading.